You know that feeling. It's 1 a.m., and the refrigerator light is the only illumination in your apartment. You're not hungry, at least your mind says so, but your body behaves differently. Some primal force, an undeniable craving, guides you past the vegetables and yogurt, straight to that bag of chips or box of cookies. Your brain whispers, just one piece, just to settle down. But your hands are already tearing open the package. And then emptiness, and a sticky, hazy feeling of guilt. How did this happen again? This late-night raid isn't your personal weakness. It's a tiny, almost imperceptible symptom of a global epidemic. Imagine a stadium holding the entire world's population. 1 in 3 people in that stadium today is overweight or obese. Over 2 billion people. And this number is growing faster than the global population, despite all the diets, fitness challenges, and promises to start a new life on Monday. We're used to blaming ourselves, weak willpower, bad genetics, slow metabolism. But the real enemy isn't hidden within us. It's waiting on supermarket shelves, in bright packaging, disguised as healthy breakfasts and light snacks. Its formula was developed in laboratories and refined in focus groups. It's not just food, it's a perfectly engineered weapon in the war for our attention and our wallets. And here's the first, most important idea of this investigation. Your struggle with food is an unfair fight. It's not you versus the cake. It's you versus an army of food technologists, neuroscientists, and marketers who have spent decades learning how to hack your brain's reward system. Understanding their rules is the first step to stop being a puppet in their game and to reclaim control. This game didn't start yesterday. It's a byproduct of a noble goal, to conquer hunger. In the mid-20th century, the world bet on industrial agriculture. The task was simple: produce as many calories as possible, as cheaply as possible. And we succeeded. We learned to grow giant harvests of corn, soy, and wheat. We learned to process them into stable, cheap ingredients: syrups, starches, refined oils. Calories ceased to be a scarcity. They became an industrial commodity, like steel or plastic. This gave rise to a new economic religion that governs every supermarket today. Its main commandment is price per calorie. This is an invisible price tag that our brain, trained by millennia of survival, reads unmistakably. It seeks maximum energy for minimum money, and the food industry gives it exactly what it asks for. It has created an entire universe of ultra-processed foods where calories cost almost nothing. Here's a simple thought experiment. Imagine you have $100 in your pocket. For that money, you can buy a handful of almonds or 1 avocado. Now look at another shelf. For the same $100, you can get a huge bag of chips, a liter of sugary soda, and a chocolate bar. A mountain of empty, fast calories versus a tiny handful of nutrients. For an ancient brain that fears hunger, the choice is obvious. But this cheapness is the most expensive thing in your life. It's a financial illusion. It's a loan you're taking out on your future health at a monstrous interest rate. Every penny saved on calories today will come back tomorrow with doctor's bills, lost energy, and a reduced quality of life. We don't pay for this food at the checkout. We pay for it for years. However, price is only half the trap. Even if broccoli cost as much as chips, you'd still reach for the bag. Because it's not just about economics. It's about chemistry. It's about how they engineered this food to make your brain crave more. This design has a name, the bliss point. It's not a culinary term. It's a mathematical formula, a precise laboratory-calibrated ratio of sugar, salt, and fat that triggers the maximum surge of pleasure in 90% of people. The goal of the food engineer isn't to feed you. Their goal is to make you unable to stop. The food must be tasty enough to make you want more, but not filling enough to make you feel satisfied. It must melt in your mouth, requiring no effort, almost evaporating, leaving only the desire to repeat. This combination is like a master key for the most ancient parts of your brain. It triggers an uncontrolled release of dopamine in the reward center. This is a neurotransmitter that in normal life says, "You found water, remember this place." Or "You ate a ripe fruit, that's good." But ultra-processed products create a veritable dopamine storm with no natural equivalent. The brain doesn't just feel pleasure, it receives a command, burned into the neural level. This is more important than anything. Drop everything and get more. Remember that last bag of chips? You didn't make a conscious decision to eat each individual chip. You just ate until your hand found emptiness. This is called vanishing caloric density. The product literally dissolves on your tongue, deceiving your brain. It doesn't register the intake of calories. A crunch, then emptiness, then another crunch. It's a sensory loop, a vicious cycle from which it's almost impossible to break free by your own will. You are not controlling the process. The process is controlling you. And after such a biochemical fireworks display, broccoli seems like grass, chicken breast like cardboard. This isn't because they lack flavor. It's because your brain has been forcibly calibrated to an oversaturated signal. Your receptors are deafened. It's like trying to hear a whisper immediately after the roar of a jet engine. You simply can't hear it. Healthy food cannot compete on this playing field. It plays by different fair rules that the brain now considers boring. It is this deafening chemistry that is the real commodity sold in the supermarket. The bright packaging, the funny name, the promotional discount, the advertisements with happy people. All of this is just a delivery system, a shell for a carefully calibrated lever that presses the main button in your head. And this lever awaits you in a perfectly designed environment. The supermarket isn't just a food warehouse. It's a giant machine for manipulating your behavior. You are greeted by fresh fruits and vegetables. This is no accident. It's a psychological trick. By putting broccoli in your cart, you get an indulgence. You feel good. And now, with a clear conscience, you are ready to venture deeper into the labyrinth, where the real profits await. The most essential goods, like milk and bread, are always hidden at the far end. To reach them, you are forced to walk through miles of shelves stocked with exactly what you didn't plan to buy. On every shelf, a micro-war for your attention is being waged. Packages scream at you with words that mean nothing but evoke the right emotions. Farm fresh, homemade, natural. These are not legal terms. They are marketing poetry, creating a health halo effect around a box of sugar. The bright front promises benefits and joy, and the tiny unreadable print on the back hides the true ingredients. Invert syrup, modified starch, hydrogenated fats. They know you won't read it. You simply don't have the time. To the marketer designing this world, you are not a person. You are a data set. The trajectory of your movement through the store, the time you spend at each shelf, a heat map of your gaze. They know that products at eye level are bought 35% more often. They know that children sitting in shopping carts are at the perfect height to grab a box of cereal with a cartoon character on it. In their world, there is no food. There are only units of merchandise and conversion rates. And the most powerful tool of this conversion is the promotion. 2 for the price of 1. Third item free. Your brain sees this as a benefit, an opportunity to save money. But it's not a gift. It's a way to make you buy more than you need and consume faster than you planned. Studies show that promotions most often sell ultra-processed products with the highest markup. They don't lose money. They accelerate your consumption cycle, making it a habit. This entire system seems impenetrable. It's built on decades of research into our psychology. It uses our deepest instincts against us. But even the most complex machine has vulnerabilities. And knowing its blueprint is the first step to finding the off switch. The first vulnerability of this machine is its geography. Use it against them. There's a simple rule: stick to the perimeter. Imagine the supermarket as a stadium. Around the edges of the arena are the real players: vegetables, fruits, meat, fish, dairy products. This is whole food. And in the center, in the stands, sit the spectators, packaged, processed, shouting goods. 90% of your cart should be collected from the walls of the store. Only enter the central aisles for something specific, and get out of there quickly. The second rule: ignore the front of the package. It's an advertisement. All the truth is written on the back, in fine print. And you don't need to be a chemist to understand it. Just count the ingredients. If there are more than 5, put the box back on the shelf. If there's anything on the list that your great-grandmother wouldn't recognize as food, put the box back on the shelf. Sugar, hiding under a dozen different names, long chemical terms. These are red flags. This isn't a recipe. It's an industrial formula. But what about the price? This argument seems ironclad. Fresh vegetables and berries are expensive and spoil quickly. That's true. But there's a section of the store that marketers have taught us to despise. It's the freezer aisle. The myth that frozen foods are dead is one of the industry's most profitable lies. Flash freezing, done within hours of harvest, preserves more vitamins than a fresh bell pepper that traveled to you in a truck for a week. Frozen vegetables, berries, and simple fish are your budget arsenal, available year-round. And the final line of defense, your own mind before entering the store. They count on your impulse, your fatigue, your hunger. Break that calculation. A shopping list isn't just a reminder. It's your written command to yourself, given in a calm environment. It protects you from momentary desires that are not your own. And never go grocery shopping hungry. That's like going into battle without a weapon. You are doomed to defeat. Now for a simple action. Right now, go to your kitchen cabinet. Grab the first box of cereal, package of cookies, or jar of sauce you see. Turn it over, and slowly, out loud, read the ingredients. Just hear what it's actually made of. And there you stand in your kitchen, with a box in your hands. And the words you read don't look like a recipe. They look like a report from a chemical laboratory. At that moment, something clicks. This is no longer food. It is a product. And you are no longer a hungry person. You are a targeted consumer. So here's your defense protocol. 4 simple rules. Stick to the perimeter. Read the back, not the front. Use the cold aisle. Make a list. This isn't a diet. These are rules for informational hygiene in a toxic environment. And when they become second nature, an almost imperceptible miracle happens. Imagine it again. 1 a.m. The same refrigerator light. The same silence in the apartment. You open the door and simply pour yourself a glass of cold water. The primal craving is gone. There is only silence and the realization that you have regained your right to choose. You didn't win the war. You just stopped participating in it on their terms. The emptiness in your stomach no longer leads to an empty bag of chips, and the sticky feeling of guilt is replaced by calm. And this leads us to the last, most difficult question. Who bears greater responsibility for this epidemic? The corporations that deliberately design addictive products, or the government that allows these products to be on every shelf? The manufacturer or the regulator?